I mean, unless you're like the toxic couple in the corner who's like screaming in each other's faces, but like quietly, and you think that nobody can see you because like one light is off. Those people are toxic. Hey. Hey from my floor. I am in the process of moving, so everything's kind of a mess. But I did want to do another little video because I was thinking about 2020, right? Reflecting as one tends to do around this time of year. And I realized that 2020 was the first calendar year, the first full calendar year that I spent without a boyfriend since 2007. So in at least 1 month of every year from 2007 to 2020, someone was my boyfriend, which is insane. It's nuts. When I like look back on it now, I'm just like, Jesus, that's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So I was thinking about that fact, and I was thinking about this blog, and I was just like, what? Why does anyone listen to anything that I have to say about being single? I don't know anything about being single. I am not good at it particularly. I am not like, yeah, I'm not good at it. And yet I sit here and I'm just like, okay, here's what you do. Listen up, ladies. I don't know shit about being single. I'm sorry. But what I do know about is being in a relationship, right? I've spent pretty much my entire adult life in a relationship. So listen up. I got a couple tips for you. Mainly they're about fighting, right? Learning how to fight fair is going to be so ridiculously crucial to any relationship that you're in, especially romantic ones, but that's really like kind of applies across the board. Nobody wants a friend who's an asshole. But anyway, so gotta learn how to fight fair. And before we kind of get into the whole, what it means to fight fair, first things first, fighting is not an indication that you are in some sort of like dysfunctional, weak relationship, right? Just because you fight doesn't necessarily mean that there are issues in your relationship. Now, there could be, right? But if fighting inherently is not, like by itself, is not an indication of a weak relationship. Actually, one of the most, how do I put this nicely? I should have thought about this before I started recording. One of the most challenging relationships that I have been in, we never fought. I could probably, we were together for two and a half years, and I could like maybe count like 3 fights, including like the one that broke us up. So 3 total fights in 2.5 years. And everybody kind of picked up on that. They knew that we never fought. People would be like, wow, like you guys have such a strong relationship. Like I'm so jealous, blah, blah. And I just be like, yeah, like we never fight because he is my soulmate. And like whatever else, what other bullshit I was spewing at that point in my life. And I realized it was like we never fought because we had any sort of special bond. We fought because neither one of us gave enough of a shit about this situation. Like, I wasn't gonna try to fight. He wasn't gonna try to fight because at the end of the day, I just was tired and wanted to be left alone. Like, that was it. So we didn't fight. Ever. Because nobody had the energy to do it, and nobody wanted to spend their energy on doing something that they genuinely did not really even care how it was resolved. So, if you're in a relationship where you never fight, just take inventory there, please. Because it's more likely that there are issues to be addressed in that relationship than there would be with somebody who fights with their partner occasionally. So, keep that one in mind. All right, so back to fighting. First things first, if you're going to fight, then fight fully. And I say this all the time. People like to accuse me of beating horses dead, which I get can be annoying. But the way that I see it is I would much rather belabor a point and have that point be clearly made than be the person who sits in the corner and is like, I'm not mad. No, I'm not mad. No, I'm fine. I'm not. No, I'm not mad. I don't know why you think I'm mad. I'm not. I'm not even mad. Like, those people piss me off so bad. Because it's like, you're an adult. You have an opportunity to express a need that you have. Like, this is a skill that you should have learned very early on. And now here you are in your mid to late 20s, early to mid 30s. And you can't say, hey, this happened and now I'm upset. It's like, if you can't do that, okay, then we probably should not be in relationships, period. Like, if you can't communicate those thoughts, take a step back from other people and just do some internal searching, right? But seriously, like, if you have something that's out there, you have 3 options, right? You argue until you feel like this has been resolved and your partner has addressed your needs, right? You decide this is no longer something that I care enough about, and this is no longer something that I'm going to be upset about. Or you say, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Those are your 3 options. That's it. Like, there are 3 lanes, and you should stay in them. But people always tend to kind of take parts of lane 1 and lane 2 and be like, I don't want to fight about this anymore, but I'm still upset. That is like a surefire way to just like cause tension and chaos and drama and all the things that like we really don't want, right? The way that I look at it, and I get that it's alarming to some people, but like, I will let people know how I feel. And then once it's over, I can move on and I can be fine, because it's like, I don't want there to be lingering tension. I hate that. I hate that so much. So it's like, I would much rather sacrifice a couple of minutes of being a little uncomfortable and, maybe, getting a little upset for a extended period of peace and tranquility and happiness. So if you are going to fight, which you will, if you're gonna fight, then fight fully. And then finally, the last thing is just like, know what it means to hit below the belt, right? And we all do it, right? Sometimes things pop out and you're like, oh, yeah, no, probably shouldn't have brought that one up. It's like you're arguing about, where to go for dinner, and then next thing you know, it's like, well, it's not my fault that your father never told you that he was proud of you, and it's like, whoa, where did this come from, right? So it's like things like that. Eliminate that, right? Because that comes from a place of wanting to win, right? You want to say things like that to people because you want to hurt them, and you want to hurt them because you want to feel superior over them, and you want to feel superior over them because you want to win. And that is not what partnerships in general should be about. It should not be about me versus you, right? It should be about us versus whatever it is out there that we encounter. And so being in a relationship is great, but it's also really scary, because in order for you to actually get to know someone, you have to let them in, right? And you have to let them in not only on the things that make you awesome and smart and funny and adventurous and all of those great qualities, but you also have to let people in on the things that make you anxious or stressed or angry or depressed. Like, these are things that exist within all of us. And if someone lets you in on some of their darker traits and some of their more difficult experiences, and then at the first available opportunity, you use those experiences and what they've told you against them, that's not love. That's not someone that you love, right? Because, people always like make fun of people for using the term safe space, and it's like, there's no such thing as a safe space. Okay, like, whatever, fine. You can DM me about it later. But basically, for the point of this conversation. Like, you in a relationship, you should be each other's safe space. Like, you have to go out into the world and you have to deal with all of the assholes and all of everything, and stress about work or school or money or whatever. And then when you come home or when you're spending time with your significant other, that should be time that, like, you enjoy spending, right? That should be a place where you feel safe and where you feel like you can kind of recharge and get ready to face whatever it is that the outside world is going to throw at you next, right? So if you're going out in the world and you're constantly feeling like you got to do battle, and then you come home and you constantly feel like you got to do battle, that's horrible. That's horrible, and it's no way to live. So just look at it that way. Even I don't really care how you feel about the term safe space. I really don't. But just look at it that way. That it's like you should be providing, just like support and love, and not taking the things about your partner that make them imperfect. And we all have them, right? We all have things that make us imperfect. Not taking those things and throwing them back at their face as soon as you have an opportunity to win. If that's what you feel like you need to do, and if you feel like that's your default every single time that a conflict comes up, you shouldn't be in a relationship with that person. And quite frankly, you probably shouldn't be in a relationship at all. So I get really heated about that one. I'm sorry, I'm like sweating now. Jeez. So that's my piece. That's really all I had to say. It feels really good to kind of talk about something that I actually know about, instead of being like, hey guys, what do I talk about? What do I put in my blog? So that was fun. And I hope that was useful for you guys. And, hopefully some of you guys get to use some of that information soon, I guess. I don't know. Well, cool. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.